Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to discuss English first language class 8th. So the first lesson, that is prose. The prose name is The Heavenly Parasol. So here you can see the parasol picture. And coming to the prose, here prose 1, The Heavenly Parasol, pre-reading task. Read the following passage. Mace is a simple weapon. It has a heavy wooden or metal shaft, often reinforced with metal, featuring a head made of stones, copper, bronze, iron or steel. It was used in traditional warfare. For example, Bhima and Duryodhana fought with maces in the Mahabharata war. Nowadays, maces are used as symbols of authority in the emblems of a number of government bodies, universities and academic, parliamentary or civic rituals. So you can see this picture. This is called as a simple weapon, that is called as a mace. It has a heavy wooden or metal shaft, often reinforced with metal or stones, copper and bronze, iron or steel. Any this kind of the material they used to make this weapon, and it is used in the traditional warfare. You can see in this picture right side, the Bhima and Duryodhana, they were both are fighting with the by using maces in Mahabharata war. Nowadays these maces are used as symbols of authority. And coming to the prose, we can read first story and then I'll explain. Read the following story and appreciate the importance of a parasol. There was once a beautiful princess in the town of Pragyyotisha called Amritaprabha. When she came of age, the king held a Swayamvara to enable her to choose her husband. Many illustrious suitors, lured by tales of Amritaprabha's beauty, assembled there. So here you can see this princess, her name is Amritaprabha. Amritaprabha was the princess of Pratyogisa. She was a beautiful young lady. When she attained the age of marriage, the king arranged the Swayamvara. Swayamvara means that she was free to choose her husband. Many suitors who had heard of her great beauty came to Pratyogisa to marry her. Among them was Meghavahana, the great grandson of a former king of Kashmir. Amritaprabha shyly cast her eyes over the court and wondered whom she would choose. To Meghavahana's surprise, the princess stopped before him and put the garland around his neck. He rose to his feet, unable to contain his joy. So here you can see he is among them. There was one king, name is Meghavahana, the great grandson of former king of Kashmir. So he also came. The princess of Kashmir also came there. So Amritaprabha entered the court hall, had a look at all the suitors who are sitting in that court, and put the garland around the Meghavahana's neck. So she chose the Meghavahana. You can see in this picture, this is called Swayamvara. Many suitors are sitting in this row, and she came here. Amritaprabha came with holding the garland, which is like a flower garland, and came to near him, and she put him garland around his neck, and she chose as her husband. So this is called Swayamvara. So he was very happy, means unable to contain his joy, means Meghavahana was very happy that she chose him. The couple moved forward to seek the king's blessings. As the king stepped down from his throne, the priest cried out in surprise, "Your Honor, the parasol of Varuna has cast its shadow over the prince." So he became very happy, Meghavahana, when he Amrita Prabha put a garland around his neck, so he was very happy. And Meghavahana and Amrita Prabha moved toward the king to take the blessings. So here the priest cried out in the surprise, saying that the parasol of Varuna had cast his shadow over the prince. So the king also noticed it and said to Meghavahana that he was favored by the gods. So here it is true, exclaimed the king, my son, you are favored by the gods. Also king also saying that Meghavahana he was favored by the gods. Meghavahana looked up in surprise, wondering at the meaning of these words. All at once he saw by his side a beautiful, dazzling white parasol with exquisite decorations that was casting its shadow over him. So what happened? Meghavahana saw by his side a beautiful, dazzling and white parasol with exquisite decorations that was casting its shadow over him. So you can see this parasol, it was very decorative and dazzling, and it was very beautiful. This is the parasol of Varuna, the lord of seas, explained the king. It casts its shadow on none else but a sovereign of the whole world. You are destined for glory and brilliance. So what happened when he saw that parasol? So again the king was saying, king was sure that Meghavahana was destined to become great and famous by he wanted to take the blessings from the Varuna. Meghavahana was very happy with the good omens, and he returned home with the Amrita Prabha and the heavenly parasol. So this parasol belongs to Lord Varuna, the seas of Lord of the seas. So the king explained to Meghavahana. So you can see this picture. He is the Varuna, the Lord of seas. Dazed by these portents and by his good fortune, Meghavahana brought his bride and the divine parasol back to home. So Meghavahana was happy with the good omens, and he returned home with the Amrita Prabha and the heavenly parasol. Upon his return, the ministers of Kashmir court sought him out and offered the throne to him. We are dissatisfied with our present ruler, they said. He has devoted himself to a life of prayer, and the affairs of the kingdom lie neglected. The people suffer because of this. Your noble character and bravery are well known in these parts. Honor us and the land by accepting our offer. So when the Meghavahana and Amrita Prabha returned their house, then the ruler of Kashmir had taken to a life of prayer and neglected the affairs of the kingdom. So the ministers requested Meghavahana to become their king for he was king because he was brave and famous and good nurtured. So Meghavahana accepted their willings, and he said what he said, he accepted their request. So Meghavahana became the king of Kashmir. Soon he proclaimed a law against the killing of living beings. It became his ambition to conquer other kingdoms to impose this law on them as well. So what happened? Meghavahana, he accepted becoming a king, their offer, and become the king of Kashmir. So Meghavahana, when he became a king of that Kashmir, he passed a law against the killing of living beings in his kingdom, and his ambition was to conquer other kingdoms and impose that law of them also. So he set out to fulfill his ambition. So you can see this is the throne of the Kashmir, and he implemented that what we say killing again law against the killing of living beings. So he started imposing this law. Once while on an expedition near the sea, the king told his weary army to rest in the shade of some palm groves. I must use this time to plan a way to conquer the island of Lanka. He thought, it is the land of demons and needs to be taught the ways of peace. But how will I cross the great seas with my army? So what happened, once he was resting near the sea in the shade of palm groves with his army, he thought of conquering the island of Lanka, that is Sri Lanka, and he he thought that demons the peaceful ways of the life, but he did not know how to cross the sea with his army. So all of a sudden he heard a crying. He have a question of that, how I can cross the sea to conquer the island of Lanka. All of a sudden there was a cry in the air. It seemed to come from a wood by the shore, not far from where the royal horses were tethered. The cry came again, and the king heard the plaintive call, even under Meghavahana's rule, I have been slain. In his agitation, the king did not wait to summon his officers, but ran towards the wood. Plunging through the undergrowth, he fought his way till he came to a clearing. There before him was a temple. So when he was thinking like that, and all of a sudden he heard a cry in the air, and a call which said, even under the rule of Meghavahana, he was being killed. It seems to come from a wood nearby. Wood means the kind of forest, it will be there. So Meghavahana was agitated and he ran towards the wood, and he came near a Durga temple. Before him he was a one temple. So this is the map of Sri Lanka. He want to conquer that island. Near the temple of Chandrika, with some sort of human sacrifice in progress, on the steps, a man lay on the ground, his arms raised for mercy, and a menacing looking barbarian stood over him, brandishing his sword. Stop crying! The king, shocked at the sight. You wretch, you dare threaten another's life in my realm. The barbarian dropped his sword in terror and fell on his knees before the king. O noble one, have mercy. I am the leader of the troop of barbarians that live in this wood. My little son has fallen prey to some disease and is on his deathbed. If I kill this man, the gods will be pleased and save my son's life. If you prevent this sacrifice, my son dies and the rest of my troop will give up their lives with him. The king glanced towards the bundle on the temple porch and presumed it to be the sacrificed boy. His heart was torn with the confusion and compassion. So what happened is he ran towards the wood. He came near the Durga temple and saw some sort of human sacrifice in progress on the steps of the temple, and he found a man pleading for the mercy and a barbarian standing over him with the raised sword, and Meghavahana ordered him to stop. So when he came to the temple, the the man is going to kill another man. The barbarian means very cruel person. So the barbarian recognized the king and fell at his feet. He said that he was the leader of the barbarians and his son had fallen prey to some deadly disease and was on his deathbed. So for that reason he wanted to kill the man and appraise the gods to save his son. So and also he said that if his son died, the rest of his group would give up their life. So this is the information he gave. So Meghavahana felt sorry for that boy, and the barbarian said that was wandering about and friendliness in the forest. So you can see this barbarian, the cruel person, he is going to kill the another man. So this man whom you desire to protect, continued the barbarian, was wandering about alone and friendless in the forest. Is he of more value to you than this child with whom many persons are connected? So the victim sat crying on the ground, a look of terror on his face. Tears fell from the barbarian's eyes. Sir, tell me what to do, he cried. I cannot see my son suffer this way. The king spoke firmly. Do not be distressed. I will save your son as well as this victim. I offer my body in sacrifice to Chandika. Kill me, O barbarian. May these two persons live. So according to the barbarian, the life of the victim was insignificant when compared to the lives of his son and troop members. So this victim was insignificant. So his life, he thought like that. Okay. So Meghavahana looked at the terrified man and made his decision. So Meghavahana told that barbarian that he would save his son as well as this victim also. So he also the barbarian to kill him and other his body in the sacrifice to the goddess. In the place of victim, he was Meghavahana is ready to sacrifice his life for the goddess. So the barbarian could not believe his ears. He told Meghavahana that he was the king and his life should be protected at all the times. So the barbarian, struggling between incredulity and fear, took a step backward. Sir, you are the king. Your life should be protected at all times. Do not pity this victim. Let him die. His life is of no significance. So he told that Meghavahana that he was a king and his life should be protected all the times. And he requested the king to kill the victims as his life was no value. The king shook his head impatiently. If I can use my body to stop a killing, why should I not? Do not speak another word, kill me. So Meghavahana insisted on being killed to save the lives of the victim and the barbarian son. The barbarian hung his head and made no move to take his sword. If you cannot bring yourself to strike at me, I will use my own sword for the purpose. So saying, the king drew out his sword. So the barbarian hung his head and kept quiet because he is not agreeing. Meghavahana is not agreeing to be kill the victim. Okay, he want to kill him. Meghavahana, he was asking to barbarian. So the barbarian hung his head and kept quiet. So Meghavahana decided to kill himself. He drew his sword and was about to strike himself with it. Then someone, if he barbarian is not agreed to do that, but Meghavahana, he himself started killing himself. The barbarian and the victim watched the horror as Meghavahana was about to strike himself. His head was covered with the divine flowers of exquisite color and perfume, and someone held back his arm. The king wheeled around in surprise and beheld a person of heavenly appearance. Then he realized that the barbarian, the victim, and the ailing boy had vanished. So then someone, when he started killing himself, then someone held back his hand. God Varuna appeared before him, and God Varuna praised Meghavahana for his nobility of mind and compassion. So suddenly they saw the backside, and there was a God Varuna appeared. A divine being addressed the bewildering king, I am Varuna, the lord of seas. I have come to reclaim my parasol that was carried away from my town by the powerful Bauma, the father of your father-in-law. It has powers to quell calamities in my land. I created this illusion to test your nobility of mind. You are truly compassionate and noble. So Varuna said that he had created that illusion to test the Meghavahana. That God Varuna said that he had come to reclaim his parasol, which was carried away by the king Bahuma. So he was the Bahuma is the father of Meghavahana's father-in-law. So the parasol had the powers to suppress the calamities in his land, and Meghavahana bowed to God Varuna. And Varuna was very happy with the nobility and compassion of the Meghavahana. Meghavahana bowed before the divine being and returned the parasol reverently to him. Then he asked hesitantly, O Lord, encouraged by your praise, I wish to ask for a boon. I need help to cross the water so that I may conquer the island. So Meghavahana bowed to God Varuna and returned the parasol to him. So whichever having with him that parasol, he returned to Varuna. He requested God Varuna to help him to cross the sea and conquer the island of Sri Lanka. And he was asking a help from the Varuna. Varuna smiled, so be it. When you decide to cross the ocean, I will pull away the water. Then he disappeared with the parasol. So he asked the boon, and God Varuna granted him the boon and promised to pull away from the water. Whenever he want to go to the sea, he promised him to pull away the water from the water. Means he can make the way for him in the water. Whenever Meghavahana wanted, he will gave the promise for that. The following day, Meghavahana assembled his troops on the shore. The water swelled and crashed on the sand, and the soldiers trembled at its might. Meghavahana rode forward and plunged into the foaming ocean. All at once the waters parted, and the king, smiling at his troops' astonishment, beckoned them to follow him. In this wondrous manner, Meghavahana reached Lanka and won over its king Vibhishana in the form of friendship. So what happened in the next day? Meghavahana rode into the sea on his horse. The sea water parted, and the Meghavahana parted, and already Varuna gave the boon. No? So because of that reason, the sea water ported, and Meghavahana was able to reach Sri Lanka with his army. He befriended with Vibhishana the city of Lanka, and everything ended peacefully. When Meghavahana returned to home, it was very peacefully happened. You can see this, he reached Sri Lanka and he met the Vibhishana. On returning home, Amritaprabha welcomed him and then looked around in confusion. Where is the parasol, my lord? She asked. It never leaves your side. It was never mine to keep, he answered. Yet the mark of favor shown to me by its divine owner will guide me through my life. As he spoke, the skies darkened as if a parasol was casting its shadow over him, even from its heavenly abode. So, everything ended with peacefully when he went to Sri Lanka and he met the Vibhishana, and everything went very peacefully. When Meghavahana returned to the home, Amritaprabha found the parasol was missing. She asked him about it, and Meghavahana told her that it was not his at any time, but its owner's blessings would guide him throughout his life. So with this I am going to end this chapter. I hope you understand this lesson. If you like this lesson, please like, share and comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching.